On page 11 in your new book, you talk about the importance of one's thoughts. Just in general, if you could paint me a picture of this, how do your thoughts shape your destiny?
The first question is, if you have ever asked yourself, how much influence do you really think you have, whether a thought is arising or not? So meaning, this is sometimes the experiment that you can do for yourself or the people at home. Try to calculate whatever next thought is going to come up in your mind. So do you have any influence in knowing what is going to be the next thoughts within the next 20, 30 seconds are going to arise in the mind? So there was a time I did this experiment myself, and I always come up to one conclusion. I don't feel like I have too much influence or impact in knowing what type of thought is going to pop up or arise within the next seconds or minutes. I don't. So, therefore, the first question is, if you don't know what type of thoughts are going to arise in the mind, it doesn't make sense to me to blindly follow whatever comes up in the mind. So this is where in the ancient teachings comes the saying, you are not your thoughts. This is the very, very first essential point to really reflect for yourself upon it. Do you truly believe that what you are thinking is you and that you have to follow everything that pops up in the mind? Or is there another perspective in simply viewing, okay, something is popping up. I don't really know why. I don't really know actually what. But in the moment you have this additional distance to your thoughts, it already gives you one huge advantage, which means the power to choose. Choosing what? Choosing to just let it pass or to be hooked by it. And being hooked by thoughts is the same expression that in the ancient text sometimes is related to. You have two choices. Either you master the mind or you are being enslaved by the mind. So, and this is, let's say, the two choices. I do truly feel like that it's resonating with what is happening nowadays. You know, any type of news pop up in the television, you have no influence in it. Whatever the media is streaming, this is number one. After it's been streamed or published, you have no influence anymore. What from this you are catching upon your mind. And afterwards, if you don't pay attention, you also have no influence anymore. What are you getting hooked upon? And that simply means your life is not moving in a direction that feels stable. It feels like your emotional state, your mental state is dependent upon whatever impacts you are being exposed to. And I just don't feel like this is the way of living.
So you're not responsible for your thoughts. You're responsible for the actions you take and the feelings you have based on your thoughts.
Yes.
But you can influence someone else to have thoughts.
You can't.
You can't.
You can't. Of course, let's say like this, there is a reason why thoughts pop up. Yes. But those reasons sometimes happen on a very subconscious level we don't even know about. Let's just make it very super simple, because in Germany, we used to have these Christmas markets every Christmas. You know, on these Christmas markets, there are some specific smells, I would say, that always happen around these times. So in case you grow up going with your parents to these Christmas markets, and then for the first time inhaling these smells, it is not something that you're thinking about. But even 20 years, 30 years later, if you then walk by a Christmas market and have that one smell in your nose, something is being triggered upon you, something is being called up upon you, which then might lead to some type of thought suddenly popping up. But it's not because we chose it. It's because from our past, let's call it like this, there is something that in a way has subconsciously been programmed in the way how our mind and also our body then starts to react to different impulses. Yes, this just means sometimes something comes up, but you don't know why. You don't know where it's coming from. Yes, and this is what, again, just to really close a little bit and give the whole understanding, this is what we also relate to. This is karma. This means in the ancient traditions, karma, cause and effect. So there is an effect coming up inside of us. This effect has a cause. What is the cause? It is the place, it is the root where something has been implanted, programmed into our being. And that can mean it is the education from our parents. It is whatever we went through in this lifetime, whatever smell you smelled throughout this whole life. All of this can cause a reaction inside of you. And the only question is if more and more you start to become actually aware and understanding that this is not your conscious doing. The only conscious doing is if you can take the distance and then consciously take a decision, how are you gonna act now upon whatever thought just popped up there? This is your responsibility. It's not your responsibility. What are people throwing towards you? What are people thinking about you? None of that. It is, what is your direct reaction to it? And there it comes again. Either you consciously take a decision what to do and what not to do, or you're simply reactive. Reactive, I would feel like, no, then you're missing out on the greatest possibility that we humans have in comparison to many other beings, let's say, which is taking conscious choice after contemplation.